When I first started doing Raku, I noticed there were a lot of other Raku artists out there that were doing pictures or carvings or things like that in their Raku, which is wonderful. It's beautiful work. But I got into Raku because of the principles of Raku is the finish. Where the flames hit, where the flames kiss. I wanted to play with textures like this piece. I've developed my own system to doing different textures with them. But I don't want to interfere with the actual colors and the feel of the flame that's actually coming out on each piece. I like the matte, I like doing the matte, but the high gloss pieces I get out of an electric Raku kiln instead of gas show to me more of what the flames and the fire is doing. Like this piece, you can tell exactly where the flames hit when it went straight. They go into the trash can just like that, and it flames up around them. You can tell exactly where it swirls and catches the piece before you snuff the flames out. Each piece tells a story, and I like that story to show. I don't want to change it by putting design work or any of that on it. And I like the high gloss, which I don't think many people, if any, are doing. Let me see, I was adopted off of the reservation as a baby, and I grew up in Maryland. Moved to North Carolina when I was 17 with my parents, and came to Arizona 22 years ago. And this is where I'm staying. Raku is made with a heavier grog content of clay, so it can take, coming out of the kiln at 1850 degrees and into a reduction fire. It's just a thicker, coarser material of clay. Once you either pour the piece or form the piece, then you have to clean it and fire the bisque. And then you apply your glazes, which a lot of people use specialty glazes for Raku. I use some of that. Some of it I use the old glazes, which were not food safe. So I get some very interesting colors and variation because there were a lot of metals in the old glazes. I've collected a lot of them over the years. But put the glaze on, let it dry, 3 coats, let it dry. Then you put it in the kiln, bring it to 1850 degrees. You take it out of the kiln at that heat, and it goes into like a trash can full of grasses or wood chips, anything that's very combustible. And it goes in to that trash can, it flames up, and the flame kisses the piece in certain spots. You put the lid on, and that sucks the oxygen out, and that pulls the metals out of the glazes. You let that cool down, you take the piece out and clean it up, and it's ready to go. And you're always surprised at what you get. Okay, Raku, because it is metals being pulled out of the glazes, will tarnish over time. In a high humidity area, you're going to probably need to clean it once every 2 months or so, or actually once a month. In a low humidity area like Arizona, I clean it maybe once every 2-3 months. Unless it's monsoon season like we have right now where my pieces are tarnishing. So what I do is I just take one of these green scrubby pads, dry, because you really don't want to put water on Raku if you can help it. But you just polish it up, and it'll bring even more metals up, metals you've forgotten, that you haven't seen in a while, will suddenly pop out on it, and you'll be amazed that, oh yeah, I remember that. And it just takes a light buffing and it polishes it right up. No special chemicals or creams or any of that, just a green scrubby pad dry. And it buffs it right on up. Like this copper has gone to red. And now you're getting these fine lines where the flames have hit this area right in here when it first went into the trash can. The flames kiss just these top areas. Brings those all right back up. There's some more showing. So you forget what's on your piece after a while, and then when you buff it up again, you'll say, oh, I do remember that piece looking like that. And you got a freshly buffed piece of Raku.